All right, let's do this. Great, 48 points, perfect. Here you go, one coordinate proof. I already told you about that. Two other statements and reasons proof. All right, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to be involved with. Those two other statements, reasons proof. In the givens, everybody, in the givens, it will tell you it's a parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square, or isosceles trapezoid, and you have to do something with it. I am not, in the statements, reasons proofs, I am not going to ask you to prove it's any of these. That's going to be right here for the coordinate proof. Prove it's a parallelogram, but not a rectangle. Prove it's a rectangle, but not a rhombus. Get ready for those tomorrow on the coordinate proof. All right. The statements, reasons ones tomorrow in the givens, it will tell you it's one of these figures, and then you're going to have to do something with it. What am I trying to get at? Get at? Right there, number 4. Know the darn properties. Okay. You might just, honestly, you might as well just hand in your paper with your name on top if you don't know any of the properties, because you can't set up any of the equations to solve or anything else. All right. And then I know a lot of people are like, okay, got to know the properties. But also remember day 1 of this unit. Sum of the interior angles of a polygon, 180 times n minus 2. Sum of the exteriors, 360. Okay. Just remember that was day 1, and there are a couple questions on that. And I'm also going to add number 6. Anybody remember that line we talked about in a trapezoid yesterday that connects the midpoints? What do we call that line? Mid-segment. Make sure you know the two properties of the mid-segment. I may ask a question on there tomorrow. All right, mid-segment of a trapezoid. Is there anything you want to? I'm going to do something with a little exercise here with you right now before I let you loose. But is there anything you want to talk about right now that I put up here? What's that? I will when you review. How about that? Okay, just so I can get going, Thomas. When I let you guys and go review on your own, I'll put this screen back up or this slide back up for you. Got it. Any other thing else? Okay, here's what I'm going to do with you right now. I refuse to go through the properties with you. That's on you. Okay, whether you do index cards, Quizlet, whatever the new found way is in today. All right, you do the properties on your own. What I want to go through is if I ask you on the coordinate geometry proof tomorrow to prove it's this, what's your plan? Okay, we did this yesterday. Parallelogram. I'm on fire with the spelling. Parallelogram. There's 4 different ways. We wrote them. I wrote them down up here yesterday, so I'm not going to go over that. On the coordinate proof tomorrow, if it says prove it's a rectangle, what's your plan? What's your plan tomorrow? Okay, one way is you could show 4 right angles. And what formula would you need tomorrow? Slope formula for that. All right, let's say you don't want to show 4 right angles. Then you have to show it's a parallelogram with what? 1 right angle. Or you could still show it's a parallelogram, but now show what about the diagonals? Well, that still would be a parallelogram. Wouldn't make it into a rectangle unless the diagonals are congruent. Okay? So those are your options. I am not asking you to memorize those up there. What I am asking you, though, is come in with a plan tomorrow. So you're looking at the coordinate proof, and it says prove it's a rectangle. You're going to say, I'm doing that method. Come in with a plan tomorrow. Okay? You do not need to know how to do all 3 that I wrote under rectangle, but you should know how to do 1. And come in tomorrow saying, I'm going to do it that way if he asks me about a rectangle. All right? What if I ask you about a rhombus? What's your plan for a rhombus tomorrow? Okay, I could show all 4 sides congruent. If you're not going to do that, you got to show it's a parallelogram with what? Okay, I could go 2 consecutive sides congruent. Or you could show what about the diagonals if it's already a parallelogram? They are perpendicular. All right. Have a plan. If I say prove a rhombus, you're going to pick one of those three, and you're already going to know coming in, walking through that door tomorrow, I'm going to do this if you ask for a rhombus on the coordinate proof. And what if I really go beast mode on you tomorrow and ask for a square? Okay, right angles would make it a rectangle. So you could show it's a rectangle. What makes a rectangle into a square? Okay, you don't need to go that hardcore on me tomorrow. Just two consecutive sides. All right, what if you say all sides are congruent and make it a rhombus first? How do you make a rhombus into a square? All four? How many do I need? Just one. A rhombus with one right angle makes a square. Have a plan. I'm going to do it this way if you ask me about it. Trapezoid. You don't have an option. There's only one way to show a trapezoid. Okay, hold on. One pair of opposite sides parallel. That does not make it a trapezoid there. That does not make it a trapezoid. You have to show the other pair not parallel. Okay. And then how do you make that into an isosceles trapezoid? So you got your trapezoid, and then you show congruent legs. All right. Last chance. Anything you want to talk about? Please turn to you had the homework last night. Please turn to the next 2 pages in your packet. I have provided you a flow chart with most of the properties on there. And on the next page, that's basically what we wrote down here. If you're doing a coordinate proof and you're asked to prove a parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, this is how you're going to do it. Okay, one of these ways. Again, guys, have a plan. Say in your mind, if he asks me about a rhombus, this is how I'm going to do it tomorrow. If he asks me about a rectangle, this is how I'm going to do it. On the following pages are the review. 27 questions. All right? I'm not standing up here anymore. I can't. You guys got to plug away at this. What I would not do is do all of them in order. I would do maybe like 5 or 6 multiple choice algebra ones and then maybe hit a proof up in the back. Okay? All the answers are in the back, like usual. All right? Also, maybe you want to start thinking about, maybe I don't want to start these questions. Maybe I want to make sure I know all the properties first. So maybe you want to do that today. It's going to be your call. All right? And don't make me regret it, but you can move around and work with other people as long as we're all working on this. If not, I'll just put it back to the original seats. Questions? So you got a ton to work on right now. Okay? Write down the properties if you need to, or get going in the packet. All right? And honestly, if I just see you staring off to space using your phones, I'm just going to ask you to leave because I just want work being done until 10:07. All right, let's roll.